cattle panel trellis reveal. I have been wanting this to be done for a very long time, and we just got around to it last weekend. Once we decided to do it, it was so easy. I feel like everyone that has one already knows that, but it really did come together very quickly. If you haven't built one of these yet and you have space to do so, highly recommend. Really easy, rewarding project. Anyway, because I was waiting to get this built, I actually haven't planted any of my pole beans yet, and I could have planted them weeks ago. So I'm hoping to get that done today. I got the long asparagus bean, yard-long asparagus beans. I forget what they're called. And I'm going to grow those over the panel. And I also have some extra cantaloupe and I believe a watermelon, which has been sitting in our seedling tray. I don't even know if it's still alive. I planted it literally, I think, in March or something indoors. So I need to actually plant this bed today, so that's what I'm going to do. But also look how much the tomatoes have grown in just a couple of weeks since you may have last seen them in my video. If you didn't see my last video, I definitely overplanted these on purpose. I just wanted to say screw it and threw in about 2 times more tomatoes in this bed than I usually do. I really need to start kind of like pruning and cutting them back so that they, get some airflow and produce well. But you know what? They're looking amazing, so I'm excited. Also, it is almost raspberry time, my favorite time of year in the garden, to be honest. Happens pretty early on. It's raspberries where I get to eat fresh raspberries out of the yard. I did cut these back last year because I was planning on moving our raspberry patch, and then I didn't, no surprise. So a lot of these aren't yet producing actual berries, but some of them still are, and I will be grateful for any that I get to eat. To catch you up to speed, I'm a gardener that lives on less than a quarter acre with my partner and our 3 dogs and 3 cats. While we've been gardening for a couple years now and originally focused on planting over 200 native plants, this is the first year we're really trying to focus on expanding the garden, improving our soil, and getting started creating an eventual food forest. After a busy weekend away from the yard, today is just about catching up in the garden and getting some much needed things in the ground. I basically cannot be in the sun for more than 5 minutes without my scalp burning. I don't know how anybody is outside without a hat on. I have to hide from the sun. Okay, I think here is the plan for what's being planted. First off, I realized you have to soak the asparagus bean overnight, so I need to start that today. Next, I got this from our seed library, local library that gives away free seeds. If you didn't know, and if you are in a pinch and need more seeds, check out your public library. Many of them have free seed libraries that you are welcome to pull from. These are Blue Lake pole beans, but they are from 2019, so I'm not sure how well they will germinate. One thing that is not true is that you cannot plant old seeds, but each year the germination rate kind of decreases slowly. So we have planted many old seeds and it's been okay, but 2019 seems like a stretch to me. So this will be an experiment. Not a pole bean, but I do want to plant lima beans. I love them. I would dry them and shell them, as well as Great Northern beans, which we grew for the last time last year. These were super, super easy to grow. Also, I'm realizing my nails are super dirty because I wasn't using my gloves for a while. Sorry, I bet you're used to it though. Great Northern beans, these are really easy to grow, and I love all white beans. So, lima beans, Great Northerns. I want to start some more eggplant seeds. I will be direct sowing these, which we haven't had great luck with in the past because they tend to get eaten. I did start eggplant, but not many of them were as healthy as I would prefer. So I'll give my best shot at planting these as well. Then for the trellis, along with the pole beans, I have a cucumber and 2 zucchinis. So, and those are, you know, starts. So I can just plant those on the other side of the bed. Jesus, plant spacing 30 inches apart? That won't be me. These guys will have to get used to less space than that. About half the bag. For those beginner gardeners, soaking seeds overnight, some seeds with harder shells, increases their speed of germination. So you won't have to keep your soil as moist in the garden, and you won't have to wait as long until the little sprouts come up. So sometimes I don't soak things, but I might as well because I feel like I'm kind of getting a later start to a lot of this. So I'm going to give them a bit of a push to get started. Getting started first with the 2019 Blue Lake pole beans. And I have no clue what the spacing is supposed to be. We just make it up around here. And because I never label anything, future me, on the left side of the trellis are the pole beans, Blue Lake. Does anyone else just not label anything? That way it's always a surprise later on, if you forget. Listen, if you're gonna hang around on my channel, you must know that I'm a very typey person. I'm a very forgetful person when it comes to the garden, and I need you to not judge me for what you're about to see. This is my seed tray of doom. These are seedlings that I carefully tended to since March, indoors, watering, fertilizing, making sure they were healthy and strong for months on end. And then I moved them outside, fully hardened them off, perfect process. And then because I didn't have anywhere to plant them, I just let them die. Nearly die, nearly die. Not all the way. So these are 2 watermelon plants. They are bone dry. I don't know how they've survived at all, but we're gonna plant them here on the end, and I know it's a long shot, but I say we go for it. Poor guys. Okay, hope for the best. Store-bought cucumber next. There's actually like a lot of multiple different plants in here, but I'm just planting them all together, and I will be tying them to the trellis over time. The roots look healthy, so that's good. My aura ring is not going to be happy. They're pretty sturdy and resilient though. I need somebody to tell me why I cannot grow dill. Every single time I grow it, it gets this like curly disease where it balls up. I've looked it up before, but I forget what it is. But literally every single time I plant it, no matter where I plant it. So if anybody has a solution, leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear your advice. Because I've heard so many people talk about how dill, basically you can just neglect and it's fine. But mine is just... Oh, I think it's aphids. Oh my god, it is aphids. Wait, but is this why people say to plant dill in your beds? Because it is like, what are those called? Where they attract pests but deter them from other things? Like these aphids are coating the dill. Completely covered. But then my mustard greens are untouched. Like gorgeous. Dill experts, aphid experts, sound off in the comments. Let me know. One thing that I've been putting off far too long is dealing with this bush of oregano. I am very glad to have this much oregano. This was actually from last year. It overwintered and stayed with us throughout the whole season. And so that's why it's kind of bolting early now, because it's been growing for a long time. But honestly, it's kind of taking over a lot of space that the tomatoes will need. At this point, I just don't need this much oregano growing. Instead, I need to do something with it. So I'm going to cut it back, wash it, dry it out, and save it in the pantry. But first, I feel like I need a pick-me-up. I love how I'm using this to point. I need a pick-me-up, so I'm going to make a matcha. There's honestly so much of this that I think I'm actually gonna have to just take like all of this over here, cut it and hang it, because I don't know, I don't have a drying rack, so it takes quite a while to wash, fully dry, and then like lay out by hand. I'm getting distracted, but listen, I just realized that it is garlic escape season. Going to saute these up tonight, and honestly, it's more fun than thinking about my oregano bush right now. I think I got all of them that are ready. It's a good haul for dinner. A very rare Hattie appearance in the vlog. Garlic. Thank you, my sweet. Inspecting everything new. Every time there's something even remotely new in our yard, she notices and checks it out. Is there really anything better than finishing up in the garden with a bucket of oregano and a matcha? I've been reading Yesteryear, listening to and reading. I love the concept so much. For those that don't know, it is about like a modern day social media influencer tradwife who, I don't really know the details, but she gets basically like sucked into a reality where she is in the 1850s as a wife with her husband and children on the same property. Not sure exactly how it plays out or like what the overall take will be, but I'm super, super interested in that because I just am really intrigued by the modern day tradwife trend, and specifically how like conservative values and the right wing has kind of co-opted and claimed the idea of like tradwives and living close to the land and living off the land. I watched this amazing video. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description below. Please go watch it if it is there. And it's kind of exploring the modern tradwife era. And part of that video, she's talking about how in the modern age where most of us have jobs where we are behind computers and sending emails and tracking KPIs and investments and all of these things are not tangible. In these times, people are desperate for the rewarding nature of doing things with your hands and having tangible results. So like milking a cow. I'm vegan, so I wouldn't do that, but milking a cow, creating compost from soil, growing snap peas and using them in your dinner that night. These are things that are tangible and we can see the results of our hard work. And the conservative movement has gotten really good at claiming that and giving people this vision of what life can look like as a tradwife or a family living traditional values. And they have really honed in on just how badly people want tangible results from their hard work when we are all stuck in this reality in which most of us never see any tangible thing that we can hold with our hands and say, I created this or I did this in our work, which we spend most of our lives doing. So that is a long-winded way of saying that I am very excited to read Yesteryear and kind of see how the author grasped this modern trend of tradwives and the reality of what it actually might have looked like and been like in the 1850s. If you guys are into books and reading, let me know. What book are you reading? I'd love to know. My list is ever growing. I honestly mostly read fantasy books, but I do love like a historical fiction or, sci-fi, like kind of like this genre, kind of like Kindred, similar premise, though I think this one kind of has a different explanation or plot. So that's my philosophical chat for the day. I'm going to head in, we're gonna eat those garlic scapes, which I'm excited about, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna dry all of this oregano. I think maybe I need to buy one of those multi-layered drying racks to have. I think that would simplify things a lot. I'd have a lot more space for that. But thank you for hanging out with me. If you have stuck around, please consider hitting the like button. I know every YouTuber asks that, but truly it is how you signal to the algorithm that you like somebody's work and the algorithm should push it. So it's not just like a useless vanity metrics ask. Truly it is helpful and beneficial. And if you want to hear more from me, go ahead and subscribe. I would be very grateful. I want to do more of this. I have more to share and big visions for our small space. So, okay, I'll see you soon.